Hello everyone, this is 1-800-LAWYER-UP from FormalFocus.com. Please check us out if you are a mature competitive gamer in Halo 5 right now. Halo Infinite BTB Big Team Battle hopefully will be coming sometime in the new year, but please check us out if you are mature, competitive, and just a cool personality, because we're a bunch of cool guys at FormalFocus.com. In any event, welcome to my Secret Public Diary, Episode 12. This is the second part of the two-part Building a Career series. Last time we talked about the extrinsic, external values when it comes to choosing and building a career. In this episode, we're all gonna be talking about. Well, I'm gonna be talking about, and all of you are gonna be listening about the intrinsic, internal questions you should be asking. Now, before we begin, in 2018 I crossed the bar, so I am a lawyer. However, I made some wise investments. I no longer have to work. I'm quasi-retired, and since I'm quasi-retired and inactive, I cannot give out any legal advice whatsoever. And since this is dealing with finances, you should know that I am not a CPA, CMA, or CA. So if you are seeking legal or financial advice, please seek out a professional who is actively practicing in your area and ask advice from them. I'm just a random guy on the internet. This is just for entertainment purposes only. So with that, these are my unscripted thoughts when it comes to intrinsic, internal values, and it just basically boils down to just two things, and that's short-term goals and ultimate final goals. Now, your short-term goals are kind of like, what school am I going to go to? Is it a good program? What type of job am I looking for? Those types of things. Now, short-term goals, it requires like the most upfront kind of legwork, because you got to look into the different kinds of programs. You got to look at kind of the environment and atmosphere, maybe even shadow someone at the job that you want to get, that sort of thing. But the thing about short-term goals is kind of when you figure that out, then it doesn't really move as much as your ultimate goals on a sliding scale. And the reason that is because ultimate goals are kind of like, in an optimal world where finances weren't or aren't going to be an issue, like you're never going to want for anything, you can go and do and buy whatever you want, and you're not worried about money. What would that look like? Like, what would you be doing? For some people, it's nothing. Just kind of doing whatever you want, whether it's gaming, painting, cooking, whatever. You're just basically like a serial hobbyist, right? You're just kind of improving yourself, and that's it. Now, initially, and like I said before, it's on a sliding scale, these ultimate goals, because as you're kind of going through the journey of building a career for yourself, these often change, right? For me, my short-term goals were to become a lawyer and all that, get into a good school, find a good job, and everything like that. And then my ultimate goal was just being really well respected by my peers and making a lot of money and making a big difference. Now, that kind of changed when I actually started practicing. I did a lot of people, hands-on types of law, so it was like family law, it was like real estate, it was wills and estates, like will drafting and all that. I did some corporation, but for the most part, I'd say like 95% of my articles and my legal practice revolved around, meeting up with people, consulting with them, and helping them navigate the murky waters, the often dark waters of the legal system, because I enjoyed working with people. What I realized was my ultimate goal should be focused on, and this is after dealing with a lot of people, is just your family, your friends, your significant other, spending as much time with them and supporting them, and just doing what really makes me happy. I kind of found that even though I was making a difference, I took a lot of empathy with my clients, and it took like a very emotional toll on me. And even though, I was there with them at the low points, and then with them with the conclusion when they finally got everything that they wanted and were able to get closure, and I was able to do that for them, and hugs and tears and stuff like that. There's always going to be problems, and when you solve one problem, and I think I said this in my second diary entry, it's like a hydra of problems. You cut off one head, you solve it, you help someone, and then 2 more problems like sprout up in that place, and it's never ending. And I realize that's not the hill that I want to die on. And fortunately for me, I made some wise investments, and that's kind of one of the intrinsic internal values of your job. Like, do you derive a lot of value from it, or is it a means to an end? Are you only working for it as a paycheck? And I sincerely hope you watched my second diary entry, because you'll figure out how to take the momentum and the money that you get from your job and reinvest it into passive strategies in order to make your money make more money for you, which is kind of where I'm at. I've accrued enough wealth where I'm making like a pretty substantial amount of money, and I'm literally doing nothing. I own shares in dividend-paying companies that are very solid and pay me money for just holding their shares every month or every quarter, every 3 months. And I've made so much wealth that I actually make more than a lot of my peers who are lawyers just doing nothing. And what I find personally fulfilling for me is just spending time with my friends, family, my friends online, significant other, and I just want kind of that freedom and flexibility. And this is the reason why I kind of do these podcasts. It's to kind of spread awareness and kind of help people out who may be finding themselves in similar situations. But in terms of intrinsic goals, find out what your short-term goals are going to be and how they're going to fulfill your ultimate goals. Don't feel discouraged if you have to, without warning, have to change your goals now and again. That's part of growing up, and that's part of becoming a stronger human being, just how you're able to weather those different kinds of storms. But ultimately, in the end, figure out whether your profession or your career is going to be a means to an end, and what you really want from it, right? And it's a difference between someone working a job because they absolutely love it and they can't wait to go back in, versus someone who is doing the job, but since they have some financial planning, because they watched my second secret public diary, they actually have a time to get out. So they're only working for a paycheck and know that they're going to get out at a certain amount of time, and they're happy because they know that they're going to get out eventually. They're not stuck there permanently. So if you find yourself stuck at a career which is not personally fulfilling and doesn't really have any good prospects, think about maybe upgrading or segueing into something that is manageable, but definitely have a financial plan in place so you know exactly when you can hit the eject button and just kind of live life on your own terms, right? And make some passive income and just kind of enjoy it, because that's all we have is our life and our time. But that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode 12, and I will see you next week.